guys, it's Jenny. Happy Friday and welcome back once again to Solid Gold. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys an update on every single one of my animals, everything from goldfish to poison dart frogs to rabbits and everything in between. So stay tuned for that, but before we get into that, I want to remind you guys about the Central Florida Koi Show, which is coming up here in Orlando, March 9th through 11th. I'm going to be there all day on Friday and probably all day on Saturday as well. So if you're anywhere in the area or you can swing a trip down here just for the show, I would love to see you guys there. It's always a really good show. It's going to be like my third or fourth consecutive year going, and I'm really excited. So if you happen to be at the show and you see me wandering around, please come up and say hi. Don't be shy. I would love to meet as many of you guys as possible. With that being said, let's head out to the fish room and look at my goldfish. All right, guys, here we are in the fish room. And just a quick little update on the progress of these tanks here. Not a whole lot has been done on these since you guys last saw them. Here's the rack system from Custom Aquariums, the tanks from Custom Aquariums. But I'm kind of at a standstill right now because I'm waiting on Aqua Decor backgrounds to make 4 backgrounds, one for each of these tanks for me. And so I'm waiting on them to make the backgrounds so I can install the background before I fill up the tanks with water and put them on the shelves and completely finish setting everything up. As soon as they get those to me, I'll be able to finish setting these up and put the goldfish in them so we can see them from the side instead of just the top view. Look at everyone's already begging for food. They know that I came out here to feed them. So let's do that. But first I'm gonna turn off the filters so you guys can see them a little bit better. I'm currently feeding these guys pretty much exclusively with the Dandy Aranda's Repashy Super Gold Gel Food, which is formulated just for goldfish. It's really, really easy to make. Come on guys, come get it. Oh my God, that was a big bite. And of course, it's really, really fun to hand feed the fish. Oh my God, that's the first time Marshmallow, the pearl scale, ate from my hand. She's my little pearl scale that I got about a month ago from Josh at Water Pigs USA. Look at her, she's adorable. She's doing fantastic. And then my other 4 fish here finally have names. I was holding off on naming them because I wanted to give one of my Solid Gold members the chance to name all 4 of the butterfly telescopes. And I finally picked a winner to have the prize of naming all of my fish. And that winner was Glenn, and Glenn decided that since he grew up in Hawaii, he was going to give the fish Hawaiian themed names, which I love. So this little one that's eating off of the gel food right now, this one's name is Hoku, which means star. And then the other little one he named Alani because Alani means the color orange in Hawaiian. And then of course this one here, this one's name is Nalu. Nalu means wave in Hawaiian. Oh my God, you just ate that whole thing. Little pig. And then last we've got Melina over here, and Melina means the calming in Hawaiian. Okay, you just like sucked on my finger instead of the food. I love them to pieces. So that's the goldfish. Now let's move on to the dart frogs. Let's look at the dart frogs next. Here they are. I'm gonna feed them so you guys can watch them eat. Here are the flies. These are flightless melanogaster fruit flies, which I culture to feed the frogs, and I dust them with a calcium and D3 supplement. These guys are Dendrobates tinctorius, and the color morph is called Patricia. I have 4 of them, and they've grown a lot since I first got them. I first got them in August, and they were only a few months old. So now they're about 8 months old, and pretty soon I should be able to start noticing slight differences between the males and females in the group. And I actually may need to separate them since the females of this particular species become quite aggressive with other females. What I have these guys set up in right now is just their temporary quarantine tank until their final terrarium comes from Custom Aquariums. Custom Aquariums is making this huge rack system for me with 6 different terrariums on it, and at least 2 of those terrariums are going to be dedicated to poison dart frogs. They really do best in what's called a bioactive vivarium. So a bioactive vivarium is just a lot more of a natural environment for a captive dart frog to be kept in. It's going to have actual soil in it with a drainage layer under that, leaf litter on top of that, and then live plants growing in it, and a cleanup crew, which usually consists of small bugs like isopods and springtails. And I won't even have to really clean it out at all because those bugs in the soil are going to be turning over the soil constantly and recycling the frog poop. So it'll be kind of a self-sustaining little environment for the frogs. And in fact, I've already started buying some of the live plants that I'm going to put in the frog vivarium. Rabbit's foot fern, the rhizome that it has Looks like a little fuzzy rabbit foot. I actually kind of think it looks more like a tarantula leg, but you know, rabbit's foot sounds cuter, so we'll go with that. A couple of different color varieties of Fittonia, some Selaginella moss. Look at how dense and thick this moss is. This is gonna grow like crazy in a vivarium. And I can't remember the name of this one, and I lost the little plant tag that shows it. So if anyone knows, go ahead and leave it in the comment section down below. But this is a really common dart frog vivarium type of plant as well. So there's my cute little frogs. I absolutely love them. They bring me so much joy. Now let's move on to the leopard geckos, and I have some good news and some bad news in terms of these guys, these girls actually. So let's start with the good news first. Let's take a look at Sylvia. You want some crickets, honey? Oh yeah, rip off its leg. What a little monster, oh my God. You want another one? Yeah, there you go. These crickets have been gut loaded, so that means I've fed them with a really nutritious bug food, and then I also dusted them with supplements beforehand. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you will have already seen that I took her outside by the pond the other day. It was a beautiful day out, and I thought it would be so cute to like put her on the rocks, the big rocks around the pond, and let her crawl around a little bit. And she was in her element, you guys. She loved it. She's a big explorer. And it's another beautiful day out, so I'm gonna take her outside again and show you guys. Come on, Sylvia. Look at her, she's just perched. All right, that's probably enough playing with my lizard outside for one day. If you're wondering about the red light, I did add a red heat lamp. I chose a red one instead of a white one because leopard geckos are nocturnal, so they don't like bright lights. She really likes it. It just gives her a little bit of added heat. Leopard geckos do need belly heat, like heat from underneath, so that they can lay their belly on it to help digest their food properly. So she does have a heat mat under this hide right here. But I noticed that with the addition of this light as well, she got a lot more active and her color came out a little bit better, a little bit more vibrant, and she just seemed to really, really enjoy it. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta play around and see what works best for your particular animals. So that was Sylvia. She's my feisty little girl, as always. She's doing really, really well. But now for the bad news, and honestly, it's hard for me to talk about this because it's really sad. I love Lucy to pieces, but she isn't doing well. When I moved this tank out here into the fish room, Lucy and Sylvia both went off food for a little while. Not that big of a deal. Leopard geckos are a little bit finicky sometimes with eating. They'll go off food for a variety of reasons. They'll go off food sometimes if it's in the winter or if they get moved from one place to another. So both of those factors were going on at the same time. It was winter and I had just moved their cage from in the house to out here in the fish room. So it was quite a big change for them. And then slowly but surely they both started picking at food again as time went on, but Lucy a lot less so than Sylvia. I wasn't at the point yet where I was too concerned, although I was monitoring her closely and trying to offer a variety of different foods. I even tried offering her waxworms because waxworms will often entice a finicky leopard gecko to eat, even if they don't really want to eat, because waxworms are really, really tasty to leopard geckos. You don't want to feed waxworms too much because they can get hooked on those and not eat anything else. But I was resorting to trying waxworms because she wouldn't eat anything else. She would eat a few waxworms here and there, but not really enough to sustain her. However, her weight looked like it was maintaining okay, so I wasn't extremely concerned. And then it seemingly happened almost overnight where her tail shrunk a lot. She lost a lot of weight in her tail. And as you know, if you know anything about leopard geckos, they store a lot of excess fat in their tails. So a big fat tail is a sign or an indication, one indication that you could be dealing with a healthy leopard gecko. And if they have a really skinny tail, it's a pretty good sign, a pretty sure sign that you're dealing with a leopard gecko that has something wrong with it. So as soon as I noticed that, I was really concerned, especially coupled with the fact that her abdomen was really, really large and seemed to be getting larger by the day. So I was immediately concerned that maybe she had become egg bound, which is something that can happen with female leopard geckos. Even if there's no male in the tank with them, they will continue to produce eggs. They just won't be fertilized eggs. And then they have to pass those eggs, otherwise the eggs can get stuck inside of their bodies and cause an infection. Either that, or I thought maybe she could have some kind of intestinal impaction. So I brought her to the vet. That was about 2 weeks ago now. And the vet did an x-ray. Thankfully, the vet did not see any impacted eggs or any digestive impaction whatsoever. However, she did see a whole lot of fluid buildup in the abdomen. This is never a good sign because it means that the organs of the animal are not functioning properly. She is, you know, all of the water is being sucked out of her organs and being stored inside of the abdominal cavity for no good reason. And it usually means that the organs aren't functioning properly. Just in case, it could have been bacterial in nature though, like maybe she just had a bacterial infection. The vet prescribed me with an antibiotic, and she also instructed me on how to force feed some carnivore care to Lucy's because she wasn't getting any nutrition since she wasn't eating, so she had to be force fed and given the antibiotic. Now, I followed all the instructions and unfortunately did not see any improvement. In fact, I noticed that she seemed to be getting worse. I'm still in contact with my veterinarian and I'm just kind of waiting to hear back from her to see if there are any other options. But from talking to her the first time, I know that the outlook isn't very good. She asked me about my husbandry and she said she absolutely didn't think that it was anything that I wasn't doing right. And she did say that anytime she sees like the prettier morphs like this, especially like albinos, Lucy is an albino, whether it be leopard geckos or ball pythons or you name it, she gets a little nervous because they tend to have a higher incidence of like a failure to thrive kind of thing. But it really sucks. Whatever the cause is, it sucks all around. So I'm sorry, little baby. I'm gonna put her back now so she can keep on hiding. She just likes to hide, that's what she does. It's okay. There you go. She doesn't want to let go of me. Well, I'll keep you guys updated on how she's doing. I'm not really hopeful at this point, but whatever ends up happening, I'll let you guys know. Well, that covers everyone out here in the fish room. Now let's go back in the house and take a look at the bunnies, the axolotls, and the 90-gallon aquarium. Hi, bunnies. And Grim. You're not a bunny. What are you doing in here? You guys, look at how big my little baby is now. She's getting so big. She's almost the same size as Henry at this point. Her newest awkward little thing is this like indent right here on her face. She's like, stop touching my face. But she has like smoother fur here, and then she has a little puff of fur right between her eyes. So it creates this awkward, weird little indent. And oh my gosh, the fur. She is getting such nice, big, fluffy lion head fur. Just like Henry, she is just simply adorable. And there's really not much more to it. Like, she is so cute. Come here, let me hold you. You're just my little baby, aren't you? Oh. And Grim's just hanging out in here with the bunnies. Usually it's Sammy. Sometimes I walk through this room and I just see Sammy chilling here on the middle of the floor. Or he likes to lay on this fuzzy blanket too. He'll come in here to drink their water and lay on the fuzzy blanket, and then he'll just hang out in here like he's one of the bunnies. He just chills in here. And sometimes Grim likes to come in here too. Roger, not so much. Roger's pretty lazy, but Sammy and Grim are all about being in the bunny cage. They grow up so fast. And here's the 90-gallon tank with my black phantom tetras and 2 albino longfin bristlenose plecos. And their one little baby, there is one little baby pleco in here still, one lone survivor. And I don't know how old it even is now, but he's kind of growing pretty slow, probably because there's not a whole lot of food in here for him to find, and he's just kind of making it on his own, but he seems to be doing really well. He's active, he's always out and about, scraping on things and finding little morsels of food here and there. Of course, I've got 2 zucchini pieces there for the plecos. They're always munching on it. I want to do something with this tank eventually. I might even switch out the substrate to something that's a little bit more planted tank friendly, because I would really like to try to plant this tank really heavily and see if I can have any success at that. I don't have a green thumb at all, so we'll have to see how that goes, but I think it would look really cool and it would be a fun experiment if nothing else. I want to keep the driftwood in here, and I still want to tie on a whole bunch of plants to it, probably Anubias mostly, maybe some moss, but definitely a lot of Anubias. I think Anubias tied onto driftwood looks really beautiful, so I just want to kind of like cover it, especially concentrate the plants more so in the center of the driftwood and then kind of taper off towards the ends. I think that would look really pretty, and then maybe some tall val plants in the background and some planted tank substrate, but I don't really know how much I want to do with it because I'm also going to have so many tanks out in the fish room that I might want to just focus on those ones. And then last but not least, we've got the axolotl tank in here in my office, and these guys are doing pretty well. I had some issues with them recently because Medusa, the melanoid one back here, is a huge bully, and she is constantly biting the feet, mostly the front legs of her 2 sisters. So I made this makeshift tank divider out of egg crate light diffuser, and it's just held in place on the bottom with the sand, and then on the top it's held in place with 2 suction cups that used to be for a heater, for an aquarium heater I think, but I had them left over and I don't have the heater anymore, so they work out well to hold that in place. So we've got naughty Medusa over here on one side, very naughty, but honestly she's my favorite because she's got the most personality. And then I've got the 2 leucistic girls over here, and they are just recovering with owies on their feet. Yes, I said owies, deal with it. You guys want some worms? Come get your red wiggler worms. Here's Sammy Sam. Hi Sammy. This is Sammy's new favorite spot. He will jump up here and walk across my work path and then jump in his little cubby hole and just lay there for hours. That's his favorite new spot. And here's Roger in one of his many favorite spots. Roger's favorite thing in the world is to just lay around all day. So he has a lot of favorite spots that he likes to lay in. Don't you, Roger? And you guys already saw Grim. Apparently his new favorite spot is in the bunny cage. And I've got Palmer with me again today. He's actually here most days lately. And some people were asking how he gets along with the cats. And he's made a lot of improvements as far as that goes. But the first time he came here, he was on a leash. And Sammy, first of all, Sammy hates dogs. Like, he kind of aggressively hates dogs. And Palmer was on a leash in my house, and Sammy just came up to him and just clobbered him in the face. So there's the problem of my cats, especially Sammy, just not really liking dogs. And then there's also the problem of Palmer being a kind of dog that really likes to chase things that move, especially if it's a small thing that moves really fast. But I've been working with him. I've been being extremely cautious. The first several times he was in my house, he was strictly on a leash. And sometimes I even had the leash tied to my belt, so he couldn't even leave my side even if he wanted to. And he has learned the term leave it, so if he even shows like slight interest in the cats, I tell him leave it, and he does for the most part listen really, really well. I haven't had any incidents or anything. You want this? I'm sitting here teasing him with this so I can get him to hold still while I'm doing this video. Okay, I'll throw it. Oh, right through the pond landscaping. Nice. Alright guys, that's all the updates that I have for you for this video, but before we go, I want to give a shout out to Katie Jeter because she sent this adorable drawing of Clyde to my P.O. box. I just loved this drawing so much that I had to go and have it framed, and I'm gonna hang it up either in my office or out in the fish room because it's just so awesome. So thank you, Katie. I absolutely love this. Also, a quick reminder guys, I still have some solid gold calendars available for sale on my website. And not only is it a calendar with adorable pictures of all of my pets on every single month, but you also cut out this little card, fill out your information on it, and send it back to me, and that'll enter you into giveaways for every single month of 2018. And the prizes for those giveaways are art prints from my website. There's a couple examples right here. And I'm really bad because I am 2 months behind now on picking winners. So as soon as I finish filming this video, I'm going to select the winners for January and February, and I will overlay your guys' names on the video here. So if you see your name popping up on the video, that means you're a winner for either January or February. So you can go ahead and look on my website, choose which art print you would like to have me send you, let me know, and then I'll just send you your art print for free. If you didn't win in the giveaway, but you would still like to have some of my art prints to hang up on your wall, maybe in your fish room, I will have a link down in the description section below to where you can buy these on my website. And also, I just started offering for a limited time, if you buy 3 or more art prints, you'll get 20% off with the coupon code, which you'll find in the description section below as well. So check out the art prints in the link below. Also check out the calendars. There are still 10 months out of this year that you could win in the giveaway if you buy your calendar and mail in your entry form right away. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time, and until then, stay gold.